Welcome to the Knakal News Network. Knakal News Network is brought to you by Massey Knakal Realty Services, New York's #1 building sales firm.
Welcome to the Knakal News Network. My name is Mike Stoller, here to interview Bob Knakal to talk about land and air rights. Bobby, prices for land and air are going crazy. What do you see? What's happening?
It's just been unbelievable, Michael.
I mean, how much can we sell the air in this office for? I mean,
a lot more than you could in 2007, that's for sure.
How high have we reached this year in land prices?
Well, it's been incredible. In the better locations, land is routinely selling for $700 and $800 a buildable foot, and in the best locations, particularly the low-density markets where you don't have 10 or 15 FARs, land is selling for over $1,000 a square foot, and it's remarkable. We did a valuation for a client on a very well-located site the other day. We had about 18 comparable sales that we looked at, and the average price was $836 a buildable foot.
In your career, have you ever seen prices this high?
No, absolutely not. The average in 2007, when land hit its peak, was less than $350 a foot. Clearly there were some sales that were over $400 at that point in time, but the average was still down in the threes, and it's just been almost irrational how land values have escalated the way they have.
Now, what about air rights? I mean, people, you have limited density, so you try to get the air rights. How much are they trading at 50% of the price of the land today?
Yeah, as a rule of thumb, air generally trades at about half of what the land will sell for, but it really depends on how many potential buyers there are for the land, whether the buyer wants to buy more than the seller wants to sell. So we've done some air rights transactions as low as 100 and for as high as close to 600. So it really depends on who wants the air more.
When we talk about land and air, one of the big land and air discussions around the city is the Midtown rezoning potential, and also the land, the air rights in the Hudson Yards. Why don't you tell me a bit about how much air is selling for in the Hudson Yards from both the Hudson Yards Development Corp and local owners?
Well, there are very different dynamics at play in both of those areas. I think if you first look at Midtown East, the rezoning that's proposed there, I think that is very, very well-intended legislation, but there are some features of the legislation that make that plan probably less feasible than the crafters of the plan would have liked it to be. Hudson Yards is a completely different animal. I think that 20 or 30 years from now, Hudson Yards will be the most exciting neighborhood in New York City. Air there is selling at different prices depending on what type of program you're taking advantage of. There is the Eastern Rail Yards rights, which can be bought, which is a formulaic calculation to determine what the price is. There are district improvement bonus rights, which are indexed, and currently it's about $122 a square foot. So what we're seeing there is that while land may have a value of, let's say, $300 or $400 a buildable foot, sites on the base FAR are selling for well over $500, because when you buy these additional air rights at lower, you're blending it down and you're coming down to the right number.
So I think we have the climate looks good for land development in the city, and people are going to be there, and they're going to be buying property, and they're going to be buying it from you. So thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. In summary, the land market in New York City is tremendous. In Manhattan, routinely, properties are selling for $700 to $800 per buildable foot, and those in better locations are receiving in excess of $1,000 per buildable square foot. Lenders are helping fuel this market as construction loans are abundant.
Thank you for joining us today. Tune in next week for another installment on the Knakal News Network.